GST Summary. In this chapter, we will discuss only about GST Summary. Under GST reports, you can see a lot of reports are appearing. So here, first of all, we are clicking the GST Summaries option. You can see GST Summary, Annual GST Summary, Item-wise, Party-wise, Sale Purchase GST Summary, and many such summaries are appearing. Here, we are discussing only about the GST Summary. GST Summary is a detailed summary of all the GST transactions. The report calculates input tax, output tax, tax payable, and all such related details. On clicking the GST Summary option, a GST Summary window is appearing, in which first of all you need to specify the starting date and the ending date. That is the date range for which you want to generate the GST Summary. Then is the Show Tax Rate Wise Bifurcation option. Specify why in this option to view tax rate wise bifurcation in the report, that is separate details will be shown for each tax rate. Then consider voucher date, purchase bill date. Specify V in this data field to consider voucher date. Otherwise, specify P in this data field to consider purchase bill date for generating report. This option is applicable for supply inwards voucher. Voucher date is the date entered in the header of the voucher, whereas purchase bill date is the date you enter in the GST reporting window that appears while saving the supply inward voucher. Both the dates can be same or different also. That is, voucher date is the date when you are entering voucher in your books, but purchase bill date is the date on which actual purchase is done. That is, the purchase bill you have received from your supplier, the date as mentioned on it will be your purchase bill date. Then is pick relevant ITC from monthly ITC tagging. Specify why in this data field to pick ITC for the specified period as per the status and return period specified by you under monthly ITC tagging utility. Monthly ITC tagging utility is used to specify status of vouchers, status pending, claimed, ineligible and not to be claimed by comparing busy data with GSTR 2A data downloaded from GST portal. According to the status of vouchers entered, ITC will be calculated and will be reflected in GST Summary. So, here you can decide whether to pick ITC from monthly ITC tagging utility or not. Then next option is apply new set of rule with effect from 1st February 2019. Specify why in this data field to apply new set of rules as stated by government with effect from 1st February 2019. Earlier there was different formula of ITC utilization, but with effect from 1st February 2019, government has proposed new set of rule for ITC utilization. Click OK button. On clicking the OK button, a GST summary window is appearing which is showing complete tax related details, or we can say complete GST summary you can be on the screen. Here first is input GST, then debit credit note GST, output GST, tax calculation, tax payable with payment details, and lot of such details are appearing. Here you can press enter key on any of the row and drill down the report to the voucher level. Like first we have pressed enter key on input GST and you can see tax rate wise bifurcation, that is taxable amount, total tax amount as per 18% tax, as per 28% tax and so on. Then is debit credit note input GST. You can press enter key on this row also and you can see this is showing tax rate wise details like taxable amount, total tax for 18% local transaction and for 18% interstate transaction. Similarly, you can press enter key on any of the row, output GST, debit credit note, output GST on RCM, and then is the ITC adjustment, reversal, reclaim, transition credit. On pressing the enter key on this particular row, you can see this is showing details as per the rule 37.2. Again on pressing enter key here, this is showing voucher wise entries, and on pressing the enter key on this row, you can see this is showing the journal voucher that is entered for GST tax adjustment. Now coming back to the GST summary report, here this is showing tax calculation like opening balance and other related details. Now you can see we have shown a chart which depicts that input tax can be set off against which type of output tax. So here we would like to tell that credit of IGST must be first utilized only for the payment of IGST, and in case still the balance remains, then IGST credit can be adjusted with CGST, SGST or UTGST. Similarly, credit of CGST can be adjusted with output CGST, output IGST, and credit of SGST can be utilized with SGST and IGST. So keeping these points in mind, now we are coming back again to our GST summary, and here we can see the input GST, ITC adjustment, RCM input adjusted, output GST, and then is cross tax adjustment suggested. Here you can see Busy has made some adjustments and those are shown on the screen, like output CGST and output SGST can be adjusted with input IGST. So Busy has shown all these cross tax adjustment and is showing the GST payable, which is IGST 22,447. So after making all these adjustments, Busy is showing the GST payable. So you can view all these details. Then is tax payable with payment details, IGST, CGST, SGST, cess, additional cess, then IGST, CGST, SGST, RCM, then tax adjustment suggested, like tax component it's showing CGST, SGST, IGST regular, then RCM tax adjustment as suggested, TDS, TCS credit to be adjusted. All these details Busy is showing on the screen. Here you can press F4 key to post various GST adjustments and GST payment voucher. So first of all, we'll discuss about RCM payment. RCM payment implies posting voucher for RCM payment. On pressing the F4 key, you can see a post voucher window is appearing with just showing lot of option. We are clicking the RCM payment option and this is showing generate RCM payment voucher window. Here we'll select the voucher type. We are selecting the journal voucher type, voucher series, voucher date. Then this is showing accounts to be debited and accounts to be credited. If you want, you can make any modifications in them and click save button. On clicking the save button, Busy is showing a journal voucher wherein GST nature is GST payment to government. On clicking the save button, a GST payment detail window is appearing in which GST payment type is RCM payment, and next you will specify the period ending, that is for which period you are making this RCM payment. Now again coming back to our GST summary, now we will discuss about RCM to regular tax adjustment. This implies posting voucher for adjusting RCM input to regular tax input, that is IGST, CGST, SGST input. As per GST rules, you can claim input on RCM paid. So you can adjust RCM input with regular tax input to view a collective input tax credit. Again, we'll press F4 key. On pressing the F4 key, a post voucher window is appearing in which we will click the RCM to regular tax adjustment option. On clicking the RCM to regular tax adjustment option, this is showing a generate RCM to regular tax adjustment window in which you will specify the voucher series, voucher date and click save button. This is showing a journal voucher in which GST nature is GST tax adjustment. Here we have debited the IGST, CGST, SGST input account and credited the IGST, CGST, SGST input available RCM account. Click save button. On clicking the save button, a GST adjustment detail window is appearing in which we'll select the GST adjustment type as RCM to regular adjustment. Then period ending and click save button to save this journal voucher. Next, we will discuss about input output adjustment. This implies posting voucher for input output adjustment, that is input tax of IGST, CGST, SGST is adjusted with output tax of similar tax, that is IGST, CGST or SGST. By doing so, input tax available will be utilized by adjusting it with output tax payable same tax. On pressing the F4 key, a post voucher window is appearing in which we'll click the input output adjustment button. Then a generate GST input output adjustment voucher window is appearing. Specify the relevant details here and click save button. On clicking the save button, Busy is showing a journal voucher where GST nature is GST tax adjustment and CGST, SGST, IGST output accounts are debited and CGST, SGST, IGST input accounts are credited. On saving the voucher, a GST adjustment details window is appearing in which GST adjustment type is input output adjustment tax. Click save button to save the voucher. Next, we will discuss about posting GST cross adjustment voucher. This implies posting voucher for cross adjustment. Under cross adjustment, either of the situation is possible. Input tax of IGST is first adjusted with output tax of CGST and then remaining will be adjusted with output of SGST. Or input tax of CGST, SGST is adjusted with output tax of IGST. Input of CGST cannot be adjusted with output tax of SGST and vice versa. Main purpose to do this is to utilize all of the input tax with the output tax payable. So here again we are pressing the F4 key. On pressing the F4 key, a post voucher window is appearing in which we'll click the cross adjustment option. When a generate GST cross adjustment voucher window is appearing, specify the relevant details here like voucher series, voucher date, account to be debited, account to be credited, and click Save button. On clicking the Save button, a journal voucher is appearing with GST nature as GST tax adjustment. Here we have debited the IGST output account and credited the CGST and SGST input account. Click Save button to save the voucher. On clicking the Save button, a GST adjustment details window is appearing in which you'll specify the relevant details where we'll select the GST adjustment type as cross adjustment. Next, we will discuss about TDS to output tax adjustment. This implies posting voucher for adjusting TDS input to regular tax, that is IGST, CGST, SGST output. Whenever any government organization give contract to a third party for work done like flyover construction and so on, then they deduct TDS on payment made. Later on, you can claim input tax credit on TDS deducted. So here again, we are pressing the F4 key. On pressing the F4 key, a post vouchers window is appearing in which we will click the TDS to output adjustment option. On clicking the TDS to output adjustment option, a generate TDS to output adjustment window is appearing. Here we will specify the journal voucher series, voucher date, and click Save button. On clicking the Save button, a journal voucher is appearing where GST nature is GST tax adjustment. Here CGST, SGST output accounts are debited and CGST, SGST, TDS accounts, that is TDS CGST and TDS SGST accounts are credited. On clicking the Save button, a GST adjustment detail window is appearing in which GST adjustment type is TDS to output adjustment. Click Save button to save the voucher. Similar to the TDS adjustment is the TCS to output adjustment. TCS to output adjustment implies posting voucher for adjusting TCS input to regular tax, that is IGST, CGST, SGST output. Whenever a seller sells goods through e-commerce portal, then TCS is deducted on the payment made by e-commerce operator. Later on, you can claim input tax credit on TCS deducted. So you can adjust TCS input with regular tax to be paid, that is IGST, CGST, SGST output. Entry for TCS adjustment is totally similar to what we have discussed in TDS adjustment. Next, here you can see this is showing tax payable with payment details. Here CGST and SGST output have some debit balance which can be utilized in next month or quarter. So you can see after making the required cross adjustment, only IGST is to be payable. So you can see here IGST tax payable is 10,677 and this is the only tax now which you have to pay. You can enter a voucher for GST payment from here itself also. For this also you will press the F4 key. A post voucher window will appear in which we will select the regular GST payment option. Next, a generate regular GST payment voucher window is appearing in which you will select the voucher type, that is journal or payment, then voucher date, voucher series, account to be debited and account to be credited. Click Save button and here this is showing a journal voucher in which GST nature is GST payment to government. Here IGST output account is debited and bank account is credited. This is because only IGST is payable, no CGST, no SGST is payable. On clicking the Save button, a GST payment details window is appearing in which we'll select the GST payment type as regular payment. You can specify other required details and click Save button to save the voucher. Now, if we open the GST summary again, we are specifying the starting date as 1st April and ending date as 5th July. Then here you can see in the tax payable with payment details option, this is showing payment details also. Here IGST tax payable is 10,677 and the payment which we have just made, that is the voucher we have entered for the payment, it's being reflected in the GST summary also. So this is the purpose of GST summary. You can view all the transactional GST details, you can view the cross adjustment, and after posting the vouchers for various adjustment, you can finally post regular GST payment voucher from GST summary itself also. So this is all that we have to discuss in this particular chapter. For more videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel.